Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another new episode of the Forgotten Podcast. Today, I'm your intro host, Catman Joe, joined by my other co-host, the man, the myth, the legend himself, Mr. Joseph. I was going to say Curious Apple, but he has updated his name and changed it, so it's something new. How are you doing, Joseph?
Honestly, I just go by Mr. Identity Crisis at this point.
Mr. Identity Crisis. Yeah, do you want to say your new name? Because I'm going to mess up saying it.
I mean, you can just call me Curious or Joe still, but Masked Cynic is the name of the channel. It's more because I'm turning into the commentary-based stuff, but... we'll talk about that later, I guess. But I'm basically playing my life in incognito mode, so it's good fun.
There you go. You know what I'm saying? Well, welcome everybody back to another brand new episode of the Forgotten Podcast. This is episode 20, actually, which is kind of a little bit surreal to say. I can't lie, honestly, to think that we're on episode 20 already. But it also is a little bit underwhelming. All right, now I think we should begin this with a really broad kind of approach right now. Big things are happening. All right, let's begin like that, shall we? Right, big things are happening for TFP.
We're taking down the capitalist world.
Exactly, you're saying communism
all the revolution. The Forgotten Podcast will lead the world into victory. We're gonna all just become a big
the new world order. The new world order. That's it. It's the Curious Apple and Cat. What?
Dude, who's that? Bro?
Sorry, I don't know him. I don't know. But anyway, so big things are coming. All right, we should kind of just acknowledge this. We wanted to make this episode to kind of acknowledge the changes that are happening with the channel as we speak, and the new direction that we want to take TFP in. Now, if you guys don't already know, this is kind of like I wouldn't say a part 2, but more of a related episode to episode 10. Me and Joseph have been doing now TFP for 2 years, which is kind of surreal, and we always have these kind of weird related episodes that like connect with each other, whether it be like the Super Shifter episode with the Ted with Teddy episode, or for example like the Planet Dragon episode when he gets interviewed with the Dragon.
Like came back on. Hasn't Teddy been on twice and Z's been on twice?
Yeah, Teddy's been on twice. Z's been on I think twice. Twice, or no, technically 3 times, and Brad's about the same as well. Brad's been on, let me see, 1, 2. Well, he's been about 5 or 6, but yeah, like there's always kind of connected episodes, which is really nice, honestly. But
what, that's a slurp.
I'd get slurp. You're saying don't judge. I'm saying don't judge. But yeah, so ladies and gentlemen, we're back with TFP. I guess that should be the way that we begin it. There's been a lot changed. We're sorry for the delays. I guess, Joe, I'm pretty sure you agree with me when I say it's like we are sorry for the huge delays.
We have tried multiple times to come back and do this, but I feel like every time that we did, there's either been a new excuse or a new problem that has arisen, and also just a lot of us have got busy, especially me and Joe, where we start to like organize like videos and recording sessions. We were just very busy for a few months. I think that was mainly the problem, but there are some other issues as well. I'm pretty sure we're going to talk about
definitely
that held us back a little bit, and I think if you've been watching for a good few amount of episodes now, you might already realize the difference, but I'm sure, obviously you want to speak about that before I do, Joe.
Yeah. I guess we can begin with like probably the most obvious thing, which is the artwork, right? The TFP logo is, I think I can say this honestly, I feel like it's been really established. I like the new logo. I think it really works for what TFP stands for, and I think it really kind of goes with what we want with it. Now, I think there's going to be a bit of an elephant in the room to address, and we definitely should cover this, which is, where is the two other co-hosts? Where is Septic Spud and Zebrus? And I'm sure there's probably some of you who maybe don't know who Zebrus is or Septic Spud is, and there's some of you who do, or maybe all of you who do.
To cut it short, they're not here because, well, the new logo looks fucking amazing, right?
It does. I agree.
Beautiful, but like, it doesn't cost like a small amount of money to make that much, so we kind of had to use human organs to sell off to Shy Guy Official, just a quick plug as well for the artist, on Instagram.
Good man.
And we managed to get a really decent bit of art involving both of our characters for the small price of like Brad's liver and I think
Travis's kidney.
Yeah. I know it's a weird trade deal, but honestly worth it, to be honest.
I agree, but no. So there's been a lot happening, folks, behind the scenes, and I really want to kind of address that here fully. Now, listen, as much as we both love Brad and who's Septic Spud, that's Septic Spud's real name, Brad, and obviously Travis, who's Zebrus. As much as we both are still friends with Brad and Zebrus or Travis, and we both still love them, like they're really, both of them are two great friends. Right now there's a bit of an awkward kind of issue, which is the lack of communication, I think, and it's also the lack of commitment that's really been getting put into TFP.
They've always been somewhat relatively distant about it. I think at the start they were quite ambitious to work with us and do this with us.
Yeah.
people overestimate and underestimate how much work goes into a passion project, let alone something as tedious to make like a podcast. People don't realize how much effort goes into making each individual thing, because this will probably be like one of the biggest things, the only things I do today. This will be like the main subject of my day. We're putting in money to websites that help support us making this, so like keeping up the audio quality. I've got to spend a few hours making it, but when there's an array of people working on the same thing, there's always most likely going to be an imbalance of work, especially in between 4 people. And obviously a bigger a group is, the workload is going to be very unjustified, because it's very hard to evenly distribute an amount of work to a certain amount of people, especially when it gets to the 3s, 4s, 5s. I think 2 people can work pretty well together. So
well, that's it. I think, you pretty much said it right there. So me and Joseph kind of recently had a bit of like a bit of an epiphany. Like we kind of really hit the nail on the head, and we kind of both kind of went with each other like, yo, we need to change something. There's actually just the other day, we didn't realize this at first, but on the 20th of October of this month, obviously, of course, it's like the 25th right now. So just 5 days ago, it was actually our 2-year anniversary of TFP, which was really good. Like, congratulations. We got 2-year anniversary and all, but it's also really sad because coming into this, Joseph will tell you, I'll tell you, our original goal with the Forgotten Podcast was to be consistent and to get hundreds of different guests on the show. We wanted to every single week be uploading a brand new episode. At the beginning, it was every other week. So it'd be like, once or twice a month, you know what I'm saying? But we wanted to at least have a minimum at least twice a month, and then we wanted to try to eventually up that to once every week. But that's just not happened. And that's kind of that's why we're here today. That's why we're back. And that's why we've changed so much, because that hasn't happened, and it's never been able to happen just due to faults of really everybody. You know what I'm saying? It's not like it's a one person thing. Everybody's at fault. There's been things that have happened here and everywhere, and it's just not really worked out correctly. And it's been really sad. I said with TAP now turning 2 years old, it was a bit of a realization, because the other day I was streaming and Joseph was in the stream, and I can't remember who it was, but somebody mentioned about TFP and when it's coming back, and a lot of people.
I think it was a few people, to be honest.
Yeah, it was.
A lot of people actually quite like the podcast, which is fucking amazing, by the way. I just want to say that people who genuinely like this podcast, listen to it along and watch through the whole thing. And I know there's a few of you. Honestly, as a passion project, this is so meaningful, and it's such an amazing feeling. So to have such an amazing follower base and fan base is awesome, because it's it feels great, which is also why it feels a lot worse when we're not putting stuff out, and obviously
definitely
people holding us back has not made it great.
No, exactly, and that's exactly where I'm at. It's every time me and Joseph are together, people, or even by myself, and I'm sure it's same for Joseph, people ask us, when is the Forgotten Podcast returning? When's the next episode? What's going on?
Co-op and the cashier will even be like, yo, man,
I love the show. Where's it at? Come on, but it's for real. People keep asking where and what's happening with TFP, and the truth of it is, me and Joseph both are very committed to it, but we don't have that same feeling with everybody else in the group. Now, listen, I am not being cruel here to Travis or to Bradley or to Septic Spotter, Zebras. We love them both.
To clarify that.
No, exactly. Yeah,
if anyone thinks this is malicious, you have a lack of brain cells.
Yeah, you're missing
essentially something. We want to get on with something, and we don't want to have to wait for people. And I feel like that's been a common issue. The other guys, fucking awesome people. I recommend you check out their stuff. It's just, I feel like when it comes to this commitment, this has always been a passion project, mostly with me and Joe. It's quite hard to bring people into something that you love to do. And I think this goes for any sort of scenario ever. People, if you love something and someone else comes along, they might not get it straight away, or they might not have that same passion for it. They might just want to do it because they're your friend, and that's completely understandable. But I feel like people, like I said previously, don't really know how much work it takes to put a podcast together.
Yeah, we don't just sit here, as much as it might just seem like that. We aren't just sitting here being lazy, and I'm not trying to call anybody who does this with their podcast. It's okay and all, but we're not just sitting here and just recording and uploading the base recording of it. Joseph has to put editing into it. We have to write scripts. We plan out the episodes. Once in a blue moon, like this episode here, we actually just sit and chat. There's no script here. We just know the general basis of what we're going to talk about. But the majority of the time, 9 out of 10
episodes to almost,
every 10 episodes
what we're doing,
exactly, to kind of hit the put the anchor down and be like, all right, this is where we're at. Let's try and readjust or whatnot. And that's why I know we really wanted to make this episode, because TFP is taking a new direction. We're changing the artwork. It's becoming more focused on, less of me, Joseph, Brad, and Travis, and more of me and Joseph. Because from the get-go, with no disrespect to the boys, like we said, we love them, but from the get-go, way back, before anybody knew about my channel or Joseph's channel, way back, me and Joseph were doing TFP. We done the Forgotten Podcast.
We were doing it with a Skype. I remember sitting in my room, like my old room, I had nothing in it, on my phone, speaking to. I remember my dad walking in at one point, and I'm just like, please don't speak to me. I'm on the phone. But fucking hell, brain just did some magic. Okay, quickly, just off topic as hell. Title for this video: Not Yet Forgotten. Yes.
Oh yes.
Yes.
Not Yet Forgotten.
I like
that's
my brain.
So good.
It's very
sometimes it works with us. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it does. That's not yet forgotten.
Sometimes it's the key word.
Sometimes, yeah, sometimes. But yeah, when it comes down to it, folks, we're changing the channel art, we're changing TFP, and we're taking in a new approach. Now, I just want to acknowledge this publicly. Neither Travis or Bradley, Septic Spud or Zebrus have been fired or kicked out of the podcast. Like Joseph will tell you, they've not been kicked out of the podcast. They just aren't really being involved in it as much as they were previously. Now, this is, again, no disrespect to both of the boys. We love them both genuinely. That's why we want to keep reiterating this. But it's just that both of those guys have really been more of a guest host as opposed to an actual host like us.
And if both of you guys are watching this, please don't take this to heart. And also,
please don't. Yeah.
For your children, it's still 10 grand.
You still owe us. You know what I'm saying?
You still owe us a lot of money.
That's it. But it's honestly, with TFP guys, we've had major delays. Just to put this into perspective, now we are now on episode 20, and this has taken us 2 years to get here. That's really bad.
That's not even one a month.
No, exactly, and that really is sad.
For sure.
Yeah, exactly, and that's the thing. That really is sad for us. Really, folks, we mean this when we say it. It really hurts us, because going into this, me and Joseph wanted to bring TFP back. We done this originally on my original Catman Joe channel before it got terminated, way back in 2016, 2017, right? Or it would be about 2016, in fact, excuse me. And it was amazing. We had a great little thing, but it was very, it was very unprofessional. There was a lot to be still developed, and over the years, we've honed in our skills, and we've got better, podcasting and making content and everything else, and commentating. I'm sure Joseph would agree, but it's the factor that when we wanted to.
Sometimes I doubt myself.
What? So sometimes we all do. I'm saying, right? We all do. But we wanted to bring TFP into the new modern era of our channels. Joseph is, in my opinion, one of the best editors I know. He's now a professional commentator, and so am I. And I do my own content as well now, of Minecraft and everything else. And we thought it'd be an interesting idea to bring it into our current channels and the current atmosphere that we're in right now, kind of rebrand and bring back the Forgotten Podcast. And we did that. And we initially done the first 4 episodes with Bradley, Septic Spot, and it was a lot of fun, because we initially thought that it's us 2, but we wanted a third host, because really, when it comes down to it, the Forgotten Podcast was heavily, and I mean heavily, inspired by the Baited Podcast. The Baited Podcast is a huge inspiration for the Forgotten Podcast. I love Colossal's Crazy, Tommy AMC, and obviously was it Keemstar, and I thought that whole kind of 3-person gimmick was the ideal key to make a fantastic podcast, but it wasn't. I think it just depends how you guys work with each other. And I think for us, it's like Keemstar and Colosso is crazy. They work so well together.
They bounce off each other really well. Yeah. And I feel like me, you, and Brad do to an extent.
Yeah, no, definitely.
I would argue me and you bounce off each other pretty damn well.
Yeah.
I feel like incorporating more on top of that can be a struggle.
Well, that's it. Yeah, I think when you try and add more to that, the more to that, I guess that whole kind of group right there, me and you working with each other, it somewhat can dilute it, or even altogether mess it up, the entire. I mean, for a perfect example, we did not stage the whole liver thing or kidney thing. We were talking about we took Brad's kidney.
We have been running off things, the cold thing, all of that.
All of that, we just work with each other. That whole kidney thing, we both knew we were gonna say kidney. That's how we're both we're on the same page. We work very well together. We always have for years now, and we've got better as time has gone on as well, because me and Joseph have known each other for a substantial amount of time. And that's why initially we wanted to start TFP, but we done the first 4 episodes with Bradley, Septic Spud, and they were good, but they weren't as good as we wanted them to be. We wanted TFP to be different. We wanted it to be more of a, for young entrepreneurs to be able to kind of watch the episodes and be able to get inspired by them or learn something new, but also for us to meet new content creators and learn from them, and also have fun. We want to be taken as serious interviewers, serious podcasters, So we took the podcast in a new kind of direction. Brad ended up leaving the podcast, and we done episode 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13 all by ourselves. And that was a huge amount of episodes. You know what I mean? And when it comes down to it, I think those were subjectively some of our best work. I don't know if you would agree,
and for
Joseph.
like
I think
years as well, we've had some bloody good ideas. Like I remember when you first pitched the idea of your and my dad coming on. At first, I was no, but now I quite like it. And then there's also the idea of getting, other creators on. I'm not going to spoil any, but we've got a lot of scripts in the works and made. And on top of that, we both wanted to do a video, which we never did, but we got very close to doing. The one about me and the one about you, because I thought if we're doing creators, why don't us as creators do our own episodes as well? We had so many ideas, and these are things that aren't hard to pull off, but we just kind of were like, we need to not do this because the guys are not there, so we need to wait
because
for them.
Because the group aren't there, so we can't do it. And I mean, Joseph, I mean exactly, that's it. You really just have to look at TFP's track record. That's all. I mean, it speaks for itself, right? No disrespect to the boys, but when it was just us two, we get so much more done. With the first 4 episodes, it was me, Brad, and obviously, of course, Joseph here. And Brad ended up getting kicked out because Brad wasn't able to work with us and do as much as we needed him to do, which was understandable. Brad's in California, different time zones, and he works, so we totally understood later on and whatnot. But there was
basically a bit of a bad pros and cons. He's a good guy, but he's American, so like
that's the bad part. I'm playing. But like, no, we done, I think, Super Shiftery's episode, we recorded that, and that was, in my opinion, one of our worst episodes in quality, but it was a very interesting episode, one of our longest. And then we done the Zebrus episode, the Ted with Teddy episode, the Purple Weather episode, the Cairo. We just back to back.
Like, I love some of the history in those videos because they feel so nostalgic already.
Yeah.
Like Ted with Teddy's video was originally called the Jite Crew. We kind
well,
the thing I love about that is we kind of made her realize her own worth. And she became her own individual independent content creator, and she's got so much further. I think I love that.
Just
so
from that,
good.
And that's we're not trying to take all the credit.
That wouldn't have happened. And I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, that's it's fine. But like, that's the thing. Like, if you all look at the episode 7, that was with Ted with Teddy, and that really, the title still says, or the thumbnail still says Jite Crew. That was because Ted with Teddy was part of a group of individuals who were really taking advantage of her, and we talked about that in the podcast. And it really pushed Teddy, and that was that one moment. I know that for a fact. Teddy's told me.
We should get Teddy her back on actually and do like an aftermath,
a follow up, because it would know, like, that was a Jite Crew. Now it'll be Ted with Teddy, of course. It would be interesting, yeah. But it's like, we got Teddy on. That was one of our best pieces of work. We got the Purple Weather on. That was a real challenge. This guy had left YouTube for years. He was a ghost. He disappeared. No one had seen him in years. We got him back, and it was beautiful. It was more of a send off, that episode. I think you would agree. It was a beautiful send off. I felt very happy about it because we gave the Purple Weather's fans, who, the ones that still were around, are still curious or worried about, and we gave them the closure that they kind of maybe wanted, or I guess needed.
The Forgotten Podcast is like a funeral service for channels.
It is. But like, we done that, and then we done the Cairo episode, and that talked about Cairo's kind of rise to success and the higher echelons of doing phenomenally well,
especially stuff like the Planet Dragon one as well. That was interesting because that was very much like the whole community kind of got wronged over by one dude, and then we all kind of came together and said, "Oi, let's form a mob."
That's it. And then that was, we already interviewed him as well before that. And then we done like the Fan Came to Live With Me episode. That was a really cool kind of follow-up to my actual documentary I made on Sean. And that was
the emotion as well that's gone into it as well. Like, I don't even mean like overall positive, and I'm glad it's not overly all positive.
No,
like that
there's been bad moments and good, but it's been interesting.
Like, the fan that came to live with you, I got fucking annoyed with him, and also Super Shiftery. I remember getting really angry at him for mocking someone's death, which is funny because it's almost like I can see character and YouTube development in myself and in Joe. Because I know if I went back, I wouldn't have been as annoyed because I feel like I've matured a bit, and I feel like I deal with that sort of stuff a lot better. But just having that like documentation of my history on the internet on itself is really cool.
Yeah, it's nice to see the progression of how we've changed. TFP is a beautiful thing for that sense. There's not a overwhelming plethora of content, right? But it's what you look at, you do see change. The first 4 episodes were a moment. That was an interesting time for me, obviously Joseph and Brad. But then it changed drastically. Episode 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and I'd say we're up to 10 was a real big shift for us because you can see we're changing. We're trying to more hone in and develop our skills as commentators, but also as interviewers, because we try to be taken serious to interview these interesting people. But then we done episode 10, that was We Are Back, and that was a phenomenal episode. I think that was one of my favorites as well. And then we done episode 11, which was again the long-awaited follow-up, kind of part 2, quote unquote, without it being a part 2 to The Fan Who Came to Live With Me. And that was a really tough topic and interesting episode, because I mean we went into so many different things. I'm not even going to talk about them here, but like the child abuse and all this kind of stuff. And it was a really a very serious episode for both of us, and it was kind of awkward, but it's for some one of their most well-known episodes. And then we had the Planet Dragon episode, and then finally after that, one of my favorites, if not my favorite, we had the episode 13, which was the Forgotten Fourth Host, and that was with my buddy Kiwi Gamer, of course.
That one, and the other stream we did, I think that was good. The stream was good because it was a solid laugh, and the one with Kiwi honestly was just very nostalgic. I love revisiting old people. I'd love to get Christina on at some point. I don't know if she's too up to it. I feel like I've asked her a few times. She's kind of been like, yeah, no, and I feel like she is just very busy at the moment with her own streaming stuff and life, etc. But it would be cool at some point. I feel like down the line she'll hop on. Getting guests on, really but Tia, remember Tia? I do. I was speaking to her. I was speaking to her yesterday. Oh, I was about to say, I don't really have any contact with her. Yeah, she was streaming yesterday. I was speaking to her, imagining her on. I saw she's streaming Nintendo Switch Minecraft. Yeah, she was playing Cuphead the other day. That's what it was. But yeah, that's the thing. And this is what we're trying to say though. It's getting guests on that we're interested in, but also that you guys are interested in. That's what's important. But the point was those episodes right there. And I think Joseph definitely can agree. Episode 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12 and 13. We done all of those episodes with just me and Joseph, and that was a majority of episodes. That was all of those episodes with just us, right? Then we had episode 14, which was the return of Brad, the return of Septic Spud, and that episode was a real turning point, because after that we ended up doing a stream, which was our first ever stream on the channel, which was me, Joseph, and Brad, and it was fun. We played Minecraft. It's technically the second. Oh no, that is the first. That was the first. That was the first. Yeah. No, that was the first. But we done that. That was a stream. But then after that, we ended up doing the one of another great episode, in my opinion, which was a Gallium episode, Gallium VR episode. And that episode was a really great episode, because that was more or less like a send off to Gallium as well, because Gallium's gone now, right? Not to say too much, but Gallium is, he's gone, Christ. Right? You already know. I'm saying he's gone. I know too much. Yeah, exactly. That's it. But yeah, so Gallium's popped off, but it was more of a send off for Gallium. But it was it was beautiful as well, because in that episode, Gallium, this was just before he had his big success break. You know what I mean? So he hits his success break afterwards, and it was a beautiful, really nice way to be able to document that. And I was really glad that we did, because Gallium was a good friend of mine for many years. But then after that, and this is because Brad's back, I'd say, and also because the lack of communication between all three of us and planning episodes and whatnot, there is a 6-month break from December 2020 up until obviously this year, that 4 months ago, and that's when we've done episode 16. And that's what shocking. Time will just vanish like that though as well, because that 6-month break, by the way, was also not only the last podcast, obviously at that time, it was also when you did my collaboration on the Apex video. I look back at that video on my channel. That was 6 months ago. It's mad to believe. It really is mad to believe. But we done episode 15. Then there was a 6-month break, and then there was episode 16, which was a return to form, and it was changes to YouTube percentage of service. And we also, of course, introduced Zebrus as a new host to the show. And this is kind of where things started to become bumpy, because I think neither Brad or Travis, Septic Spot or Zebrus, I don't think either of them were really up for the Forgotten Podcast. I don't think either of them really have, no disrespect to them, but I don't think either of them really have the time to put into it, and that's kind of sad, but it's the truth, right? I think both the boys would agree. Travis works full time. Kind of annoys me about the situation, not in a bad way, but just in general, for the lack of stuff that we got, out there because of the issue. Was I remember you saying a while ago, you were like, I don't know what's worse, the fact that they're not doing it, or the fact that they're not saying, oh, I can't do it. I mean, that was particularly to Brad at the time, when Brad was the only co-host. And I understand what that means, because it's it sucks, because it's like you're, I don't know, it's like, say if you have a pet that's suffering, you don't want to let it suffer, you'd rather get rid of it. You know what I mean? Although it's difficult to do so, you'd rather, put out its misery. And it's a weird way of putting it, but it's like, it makes sense though. If you can't contribute to a project, and you know that you are holding the project up, or that you are partially involved in holding the project up, why not just say, hey guys, I want to step back from this. I appreciate this, but it's too much for me at the minute. I'm too busy. Or I just can't commit. I can't commit to it as much as I want to be, or that you guys need me to commit to it. That's kind of the issue. And that's kind of the thing,
we thought that if we brought Travis onto the team, it would be like the perfect mix, because the thing is with myself, Joseph, Travis, and obviously Bradley, is originally all 4 of our artworks for our channels was all made by the same person, Sarah. And we thought that, with the TFP art style originally being made by Sarah and done by Sarah, that this would be like the perfect kind of thing, because even originally Travis wanted to be a host. He asked us that in episode 6 when he came on. Like, I don't know if you remember, he did say that to us. Like, hey, could I be a host? And this is the thing, like, we thought, well, if we get Travis on here, Travis is a part of our team and a part of this as a host, then hopefully, let's keep word here, hopefully, we can try and balance out the workload. Joseph's doing the editing for the videos or the podcast. I'm maybe doing the thumbnails or the script writing, mainly the main majority of the script writing, plus the like getting guests on. And maybe Travis could handle, perhaps, I don't know, maybe the thumbnails or titles and descriptions, and Brad could handle thumbnails. Like, we could kind of really split up the workload and it'd be a lot easier on all of us. But that just was not the case at all. It just totally went down the shitter. Like, there's no other word for it. It totally went down. Like, it's after episode 16, we wanted to do episode 17, which was a Blue Rim, and that was an awesome episode. I love Blue Rim. He's a good friend of mine. It was awesome guest on the show. But Bradley and Travis were meant to be there. Brad did want to be there, but it was too early in the morning for him. He was having to go work, so he couldn't make it, sadly. But he did try, but Travis didn't. And that was because Travis didn't have, I think, what was it, earphones at the time?
I think it was a good pair of headphones, and then it just came an ongoing thing that he didn't have certain equipment. He then said he would do some editing and other things, but it never came to be. A few like equipment and stuff that we had to change because he couldn't do stuff on his PlayStation. It was very up and down with Travis. Like, and it's not a bad thing. And I know at the moment and in the past he was going through some crap, but although I know that's a bad thing, I feel like we all were.
We all
good
were.
Enough of an excuse,
like everybody's going through stuff. Joseph's going through stuff. I'm going through stuff. There's everybody's. I'm not even going to begin to mention.
There is a word
business
for that, and it's called life.
Yeah, it's called life. That's it. But we all have our own shit that we have to deal with. Brad, Travis, myself, Joseph, we all have our own in real life issues that we're dealing with, but also as well working and obviously YouTube and everything like that. We have things going on, right? It's not like we don't, you know what I'm saying? And I'm not trying to say that either for the boys, Travis or Brad either, but it's just that although that is happening for both of us, we still know this is important. We're still able to put in the commitment to get this thing done, to get this project up and running. And that's what I'm saying. On episode 17, neither Brad or Travis could be there. And this was Travis's first technically interview, because Travis had only just joined us, the legit interview, like the episode just before. And we wanted to try and be consistent every single week. So we done episode 17 and we wrote the script. We got the guest on. Last minute, may I add, Blue had to come on last minute because we were trying to arrange it so quickly. Blue ended up coming on the show though, thank God, and much love to him. And it was us, me and Joseph and Blue, and it was a good time as well. But I feel like it was a very bootched episode because like we were meant to have Travis there at minimum, 3 podcast hosts, but Travis couldn't be. And then we done episode 18, which was another episode obviously, and that was a live streamed episode. Our second ever one, and that was a good episode. But we talked about what was it called? I was like E3 Psychos and Zebras, right? Because we ended up trolling.
I think I was also the downfall of cross-platform.
That was that's what it was. Yeah, I think that's what we talked about. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so we done that, and that was our first live episode. And Bradley joined us, and this was the first episode that he joined us on since episode 15. So he'd missed 2 episodes, but he came and joined us on that episode for episode 18. He was there, and then it was me, Joseph, and Brad, and we all kind of trolled Travis, and it was a good episode. It was a lot of fun, but it was our first live streamed episode. And then we done episode obviously 19, which was the last episode. Now, this is where the issue kind of really became quite apparent, because between episode 18 and episode 19, there's a 2-month gap, which is like, what? But that's because neither Travis, Brad, myself, or Joseph really were communicating that much. Me and Joseph knew that we wanted to get TFP going and we wanted to keep working on episodes.
I also at that time started working. I got a job.
Yeah.
Driving lessons started, so my schedule got progressively more busy. But I would usually make time to go into the group chat and stuff.
Exactly, man. Exactly. Sorry, right now. 1 second. But yeah, and well, that's it. And then so we done episode 19, which was our last episode. And that was, in my opinion, an interesting episode. It was obviously us two with Zebras as well, which is good, and also Sam and Rolly, right? But again, there's this specific pattern. If you look at the overall pattern right now, what happens is we never had all the hosts in one single call or one single sitting. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of like the thing.
Yeah, we were
And
never a full house, which was kind of a red flag on its own.
That was the demotivator as well. Like it was the fact that, you know, we're a group, we're a podcast team. You're meant to be together.
The
like,
amount of times we sat there and we got everyone together and was like, okay, we'll just wait on this one guy, and he never turned up. But then he would be like, "Oh, we can do it tomorrow," but the other one could do it tomorrow, or etc.
Yeah, and it was just, and that kept happening. We were like, "Oh, well, we'll do it on Monday, and we can all be there." Like me,
and then
Joseph,
it would eventually get to the point after like 3 weeks of trying to schedule an episode, we'd just be like, "Oh, fuck it, we'll just do it without this one person, or these two people, or
and then it'd just be us two again, and then that's it. Like, and it's really shitty because it's like we can't get anything done. You know what I'm saying? We just can't. We need to be able to work together like seamlessly, you know. And it didn't help either. Well, no disrespect to the boys either, but neither of them were helping with scripts. Neither of them were helping with editing, thumbnails, anything, man. And it's like that's what really crippled us quite a bit. You know what I mean? It was terrible. You know, and I said with episode 19, if you look at the pattern again, like, okay, so for example, Travis joined on episode 16, he missed 17, 18, then he joined on 19. You know, Brad joined on episode 14 and he was there for episode 15, but not 16, 17, and he was there for episode 18. Like every other episodes, or like every 2 episodes, like that's not how we do this. That's not how we can do this. We can't have TFP, the Forgotten Podcast.
I feel like
being
us
the
is very even. I was so close to saying I feel like I've been in more episodes technically because the time where you've like had to run off and I just kept going.
Yeah.
But I also did miss a lot of Planet Dragon's live stream version because I had to go. So I think we're very even on how much time we spent watch time wise.
We've evened out. That's audio. What it is. We've evened out when it comes to how long we've been on.
That's like, why I left. Next time I'll bugger off, then you have to bugger off.
That just leave entirely. But like no, like I'd say this is why we want to make this video though, or this episode, guys, of the podcast, because it's episode 20. This gives us an opportunity to be able to sit here and get grounded for a minute and be able to explain to you all the future of the podcast.
Like say what's happened, and I don't want this to be a complete like, although it's not hate fest. I don't want it to be a complete like, oh, these guys are all to blame. I do want to also speak about like what we plan on doing, what we're doing as individuals, channels, etc. Because I know we're both doing stuff at the moment. I think that's interesting in itself, and also just the direction of the channel itself as well. Because I feel like we've got a lot more things, and also not even just this channel. Other channels directed to this one. I'm not sure how many people have been watching since the very, very beginning. I know it's a few of you, but not like everyone. But we used to have a shorts channel before YouTube Shorts was an actual thing. I think it was just called like Forgotten Podcast Clips, Highlights.
Highlights, Forgotten Podcast Highlights,
Yeah, and I used to run that for a bit. It got a bit exhausting because at the time I was at school and college, etc. I still am, but obviously it's a bit more flexible now. Just whereas, you know, I'm a bit more better with time management. But I think we're going to try and revive that as well because the addition of YouTube Shorts has made it a lot easier and more better for us to put stuff out. And I feel like it's a nice form of content to, you know, really flesh out the community, because that's another thing people don't really realize. Although Joe, me, Z, or anyone else in the community have their own individual channels, the podcast links up every community, and it's nice because it makes it feel like everything is interconnected, and I love that.
It really is like the hub, you know, like it's where we bring so many different content creators on. That was always our goal. Like, ladies and gentlemen, from the very beginning, our goal was always to get other content creators on the show to help them get introduced to our audience, to hopefully help their audience and our audience kind of mangle together. You know what I mean, right? Excuse the wording, right? But like that was how it was. We wanted it to be like, this would be the hub, this would be the center, this would be where everybody comes together and everybody has something related. Like, you know, content creators can meet each other via the Forgotten Podcast.
It like sends off dead channels, it ties loose ends, and it makes new ones. It's like the good connections as well. Like, I've collabed with a few people we've met on the podcast. Like, although we're not on good terms now, Planet Dragon, I was his editor for a little bit, so that earned me some profit. That got us a few like communication, collaborations. I've done stuff with Teddy, stuff with Z. Although I was already good friends with Z, it kind of tied our bond a lot more. There's literally no downfall to the podcast. It helps pretty much everyone, and it feels nice that way.
We've done a lot of the podcast, and we have a lot of good things coming. You know, with TFP, we didn't just want to make it just some generic kind of podcast. We wanted to do interviews where you guys get to know more about your favorite content creators or people that you might not even know, and actually to maybe pick up little secrets and tips that they only know themselves that are helping them grow or gain more subs or more views. So if you're a young YouTuber who's trying to grow and build up his community or channel, this is the place for you. And it was also where we could also do justice that needed to be done. Like, for example, a lot of people don't care about channels, or a lot of content creators don't care about other channels that are dead or that have, you know, left or abandoned their channels.
Jury, and
with us, you know, for example, I said with like Super Shifter, that was more of a debate episode. We really went in there to kind of tell Shiftery off and really expose what he done. And it was an interesting episode. We went off with it, not in the best
It's the exact
of terms,
same thing
but
with Sean as well. It's nice because it's like almost like a community watch type thing. Because not only are we linking everything together, we're also stopping the little like rats in it as well.
Yeah, exactly. And giving like them what they deserve. You know what I mean? And like I said, then we had people like Teddy on, and we helped her again fully transition into her own content career, which was amazing. And I'm so proud that we done that. We had Cairo on and let Cairo actually to speak about his rise and fall, and it was sad, but it was the truth. He got to experience the higher echelons of YouTube, and then he went down and caved into the ground because he wasn't able to keep what he was getting, you know. And it was a sad thing, but it was the truth. And then with the Purple Wither, you know, for them, for example, and with Gallium, we were able to give them the send off that they didn't have the ability to make themselves, you know. For a lot of content creators, like us included, you know, I think the hardest thing for us to ever be able to do would be able to make a video saying goodbye, you know, thank you for watching, we're never coming back, goodbye. That is one of the, I'd rather leave it open-ended than say goodbye, you know what I mean, so I can always come back. But for so many content creators that know they'll never come back, they never ever make videos saying, hey, I'm gone, this is the end, thank you for being a part of this journey, I love you, you know, bye-bye, you know, that's it. And with us, we were able to do that
as well, because I feel like YouTube channels, I know this is definitely apply and is applicable to many people that make content and make it their like full-time hobby and thing. It's just kind of like it becomes such an ingrained part of your personality. It's a bit like what I want to speak about in a bit as well, because I think we want to start speaking about our stuff as well, just to
of course.
Get out direction. It's just like I got to the point right where the reason I changed my name was because I became so engrossed in this character and this persona that I created, where I would constantly be doing certain things and, you know, having like a certain personality trait, all mixed in with doing constant weekly content. It just made me burn out and it felt awful. But it was such an integral part of my life. It was like that persona became a bit more than my actual personality. And it got to the point where I didn't know who I was and got stressed about it. So I can't imagine what it's like for someone to just leave that whole saga behind and just go on and do something else and act like nothing happened. Because even the people watching are like, they know this person or this character and this saga of this person's life, and they're just leaving it like it's like finishing a movie but not watching the last 30 minutes. It's you can't do that.
The perfect example is like watching a series and then, you know, you get left on a cliffhanger but they never finish it, right? Like that's like one of the most horrible things.
The game.
Yeah, it's an unfinished project, but it'll never get finished. And it's kind of like a beautiful but also really sad way to end it, because you're sitting there wanting to know how it ends. You want to know if the story is over or if you should keep waiting. And this is what TFP is all about.
You know what I think a prime theme of the Forgotten Podcast is? What? And it's really ironic because we are called the Forgotten Podcast, but like closure is our big thing.
Yeah.
It really is.
It's quite mad. Yeah, it really, definitely.
That's why we are not the Forgotten Podcast.
Yeah,
and the Forgotten Podcast.
Yeah, but that's why. We wanted to tell you guys all about what we're planning on doing. Now, we should also just say things are improved big time. Like we're really on the up right now. So, for example, originally episodes used to only get recorded via the PlayStation 4, and because of this basically made us entirely locked to being able to only record with content creators that were on the PlayStation 4. However, now we've actually moved to StreamYard, which is the new actual streaming service that we use to be able to actually record these episodes. And what this allows us to do is be able to get guests on from all over the world without them having to have explicitly a PS4 or anything like that. All they need is a phone or a PC and they can come join us on the actual broadcast, which is incredible because that means we have a whole new catalog of a whole new catalog of guests we can get on the show. And I mean, we're already planning it. Like, I mean, Joseph, you already know. Like,
we've had like 2 scripts written for about a year and a half. So.
Yeah, legitimately, we've had scripts written of like people that we wanted to get on the show. We've had multiple different guest names that we wanted to get on the show written from like way back last year, November. Everything, but we haven't been able to really pursue them because for one, they were either not on PlayStation 4, or for two, we just were getting delayed continuously. But however, because that's now been stamped and we can get past that, now we are. I mean, I guess we can say, I'm not going to say names, but today alone, we've already planned out the next 4 episodes.
Yeah, we've got 3 guests waiting. One that was unsure that now wants to. One that really wants to for a while. And I think another one that really wants to. It's really cool how eager people are to come on. It's nice because although like when you think about it, you realize why people like it. People like to speak about themselves and people never get that opportunity to do so. So it makes sense. It's a good formula.
And it also allows them to be able to share with their own audience, or even just openly, publicly, like whether it's with 10 or 20 people or whatever, they're allowed to be able to actually share who they are and how they do what they do. And a lot of people always like, ask, specific questions, but not a lot of them are always like related towards the content creator themselves. You're normally asked
even
like
stuff like the Forgotten Seven is a feature I really like, because
it's basic.
You don't often
nice.
get asked like, what's your favorite color? Because like even small things like that is a personality building thing.
Yeah, or what kind of clothes do you wear while making content? A lot of content creators, like, you'll never get asked that. Like, it's just every content creator though has a comfy outfit. They have something they wear when they're making outfits. Like we've already explained, like for me, I always wear shoes. Like I'm wearing them right now. I always wear shoes when I'm recording videos because it's just I feel better with them. Like it's a weird thing. It's everybody has their own little traits.
I always wear my pop noodle poncho and red Crocs. It's
exactly
just how it works.
I wear my thong. You're saying like nah, like
on my head.
God, yeah, exactly, on my head. But yeah, right now, honestly, not a word of a lie, folks. We've got honestly multiple guests planned out. Like we've got the next 4 episodes already planned out, 100,000%. Today, we've contacted people. We've been getting them all adjusted, all like prepared, everything. And guys, I mean, it's ready to rock and roll. Like we have this going. Now, with that, we have to obviously acknowledge the fact that this will mean that it will mainly just be us two. As I said already, Brad and Travis are not kicked from the podcast of the show. We haven't, said they're gone yet. They have been removed from the host section, however, and I should probably acknowledge that. So they have been removed from the host section of the channel. And the reason being is, again, because we feel that we are TFP and they are a part of TFP, definitely, but they aren't as big a part as they should be or they could be.
I feel like to describe it, you could definitely say we are the hosts and they are the co-hosts.
Yeah, exactly. That's why we think that the banner and the logo being our faces, our characters, I think it's the best one we've had yet. It makes sense. Like it makes sense. It fits in with our kind of vibe. And I think that's kind of the way that we want to take the podcast, more down our roots and what we want to pursue. And we've talked about a lot of different things, like episodes and whatnot, like future episodes. Like we can tell y'all, we want to do a lot of episodes that relate back to older episodes and connect up. So for example, let me give you all a decent example here. Like, okay, we want to do an episode with my dad interviewing him, and then Joseph and I want to do an episode with actually interviewing his dad, because Joseph's dad's a policeman and my dad's been a criminal, and it's kind of like that beautiful mixed kind of thing.
Basically,
where it's
like a really dulled down version of the Lad Bible.
Well, there you go, yeah. Like that's it. You know what I'm saying? But like, it's really interesting because we have these two different perspectives from two different two different walks of life, and we want to interview both of these people separately, both my dad and Joseph's dad, and then what we maybe will do for like the trilogy final thing is maybe get them both together, perhaps in an episode. We don't want to say for sure, but again, it's an interesting premise, and we want to do more episodes like that are related to each other. So if you've seen previous guests on the show, other content creators that you've liked, like say Ted with Teddy or whatever, all these other people, you might see them reappear, or people that are related.
Another thing I want to quickly say, if you've got any friends that like have been very into content creation for a very long time and maybe they're a bit underappreciated, but obviously don't send people that have that they've started for 5 days and stuff like that. But honestly, recommendations are always open. If you just drop someone in the comments, that'd be fucking awesome. Or at them if they've got over 1K. It's just
that's the thing, you don't
that sort of thing.
That's the thing, we should actually mention that.
Oh, look, a segue.
Yeah, there's segue. You've said, but yeah. So this is another thing with TFP now, and all the things that have changed because we keep taking such huge delays and breaks. A lot's changed since the last episode. So, for example, now YouTube's changed the limit for community tab and to be added by other content creators to 500 subs as opposed to 1,000. And what that means for us is that we've lowered the limit now that you don't have to be at 1,000 subscribers to come on the Forgotten Podcast. You have to be at 500 minimum, right? Like that's way better, like half as much. So if you have 500 subscribers, you will have access to the community tab and obviously, of course, the ability to be able to add other content creators. If you can do that and you want to come on the show, let us know. You know what I'm saying? You can maybe come on the show. Like that's the thing. If you have less than that, that's never out of the picture that someone with less than 500 can come on, but there normally has to be proper validated reason, if
you're uploading like a 5-minute video of you doing nothing on Plants vs Zombies and have 26 subs, I don't feel like your chances are massive, but I do ask.
Exactly. Do ask, exactly. That's what it is.
Good gameplay.
Yeah, that's it. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, we've got a lot of good things coming, guys. We've lowered the limit on how many subs you need to be able to come on the show. And may I just add as well, like what we've already said here, with us now having, I've got a PC now as well, which is a big upgrade. But with me now having a PC and obviously us now being able to actually record these via StreamYard, and that means we don't have to have a PS4 to record. We've already said that opens up the door to legitimately hundreds of other content creators that we know and that probably you guys know as well, right? But with us as well now, lowering the limit for how many subs you need to come on the show by half, that again opens up the limit to even more people, like hundreds more. So honestly, there is a mad amount of people that we plan on getting on the show. Like we have episodes upon episodes upon episodes planned out, and it's going to be incredible, guys. It really is. Now, we also should just say about the scheduling. We want to do our goal of one episode every single week. So that means this episode is this week on, say, Friday, Saturday, whenever we're going to release this. I'm not too sure. Me and Joseph have to speak about it. And then the next episode will come the very next week on that same day at the same time. And we'll keep being like that. And every episode will be periodically as well added to Spotify, one after another. So it'll stay consistent, and we'll be consistent, and we'll get dozens of episodes out, and you guys can enjoy them, because we're going to be asking a lot of people to come on the show that we really want to get on the show. I think you'd agree, Joseph.
I feel like next episode will be on our 3-year anniversary.
That's it. You've said
this is an annual podcast.
An annual podcast at this point, yeah, 100%.
I wonder if that exists, like people that only
once a
do
year
that.
They get together and they just like
they don't speak to each other at all ever, apart from that one podcast session. They just catch up content. I mean, that kind of works.
It does.
An hour a year to do that sort of thing. That would be quite cool, actually. I might actually nab that idea.
Might do
I know who will. I'll find someone that I don't want.
I'm gonna get CatCast started. Maybe I'll do it with CatCast. I'll do it like once a year or like once every quarter. You know what I mean? Like, fuck. Oh man, but like, yeah, so I know, folks, we just want to make this episode just to tell you all what has been happening. I really like these, and I've said this before, I do my own personal vlogs, and with them it's kind of like this format like this. I like to be to just sit and just chat, just be to sit and talk about specific things and get stuff off our chest, and this is how it feels. And I think Joseph definitely does agree, and this is gonna be awesome. You know what I'm saying? I really cannot wait for the future.
I feel like this is just a nice little send off to where we're gonna go to start doing.
Yeah,
as well.
Yeah. This is the beginning of a new chapter.
Yeah,
that's definitely what it is.
As the podcast and individual creators as well, because I feel like everyone is always constantly upgrading their stuff. Like even looking at my videos, Joe's videos, Z's videos, anyone else in the community, Brad's videos, etc. Look at their videos 2 months ago and look at the improvement. Like watch a whole video from a while ago and then watch the newest. Like stuff like that is so essential, and you can see the difference. But it definitely applies to the podcast. Granted, there isn't a video 2 months ago, but go to the first one and go to the newest one. It's such an improvement.
It is, and
people don't
honestly,
realize it.
That's it. And with us, we are just trying to improve. That's what it is, folks. We really are. We're constantly trying to innovate and improve. And we think, personally, me and Joseph being our own opinions, we are the main people at TFP. We started it, we'll finish it. You know what I mean? We're going to be the main people of TFP. We always have been, I think. Since we first started years ago, but we think this is the right direction to take, and we hope you all do as well. I think with the Forgotten Podcast shorts, you'll be able to get some of the more biteable moments, for example, say what we biteable, yeah, what I'm saying. Sorry, but when it comes into say for example this episode here, as opposed to you having to watch this entire maybe hour-long episode, you can look on the shorts and you'll be able to hear some of the main snippets clipped out, obviously, of course. You can go watch the shorts there and kind of get a kind of decent gist as to what we're talking about.
With a bit of ADHD, we've got some shorts for you.
So you don't have to watch
TikTok's
the entire thing.
very popular.
Exactly, you're saying that, but as I said, we've got so much plan, and it's going to be good, honestly, folks. And like Joseph said, it's the beginning of a new chapter. We're now using a new way of recording the episodes. We're upgrading our quality and our equipment. I have upgraded my equipment tenfold. I've got brand new face cams, microphone, headphones, PCs, monitors, everything. And Joseph, I know you're on the road to doing that as well.
Headphones, telephones, saxophones.
That's it. What was that? Saxophones. Oh my god, I'm playing. But
you don't have to clarify that you're. Yeah, I get it. Okay, fucking hell. Oh,
god dang.
I'm too tired for this. I'm playing Friday the 1st till 2 in the morning.
It was fun. It was good. But it was.
Table looping bastard.
I'm just trying to think what else. That was a good Halo. Don't even jump. Yeah, listen, table jumping was fun.
It's not.
Table running around. It was good. But I'm just trying to think if there's anything else we need to mention. Talked about the lowering the restriction of how many subs you need to come to the show, the new streaming software that we've been using since the last episode. Obviously us two kind of taking.
I reckon we skip over the complex racist comments you were making.
Yeah, I think we definitely should. I think that should be left privately.
Yeah, the Molotov in the co-op and all that sort of stuff.
Oh, come on, come on, not here. You obviously not here. Oh my god, but yeah, Oh, you're good. No. Yeah, guys, don't worry about it. I'm dying. Don't worry about a thing. It's fine. But yeah, I know, folks. I know. I think we can end it here. What do you think, Joseph? I think we've got everything covered. Or do you think there's anything
I think
else?
we need like a 30-second bit of silence. Just don't
Just
say anything for 30 seconds.
30 seconds of silence. Couldn't you just edit 30 seconds of silence?
Yes, I know. Shush. You're ruining it. Stop it. Okay, there we are. Hi.
Hi. Sorry, okay, that was very sus. All right. Well, yeah, I think we should end it there, Joe. I think we covered
honestly,
everything.
that really changed it for me.
That really took the experience to a new level. There you go. ASMR. We can add that in the tags now. There you go. That's
I got some sword ASMR.
some what?
Some sword ASMR.
Awesome. Yes, you were saying we some sort of ASMR
Oh, I
for one.
fucked it up. Hold on. Can you even hear that shit? I'm fucking it out, bro.
Sounds like a butter
I
knife, bro.
can't do it saying it down. Fuck you.
Joseph's got a sword, everybody. For anybody wondering.
Yeah, so if you don't like and subscribe,
Exactly. He will get you with the
I'll
sword.
be outside your house at Halloween.
Exactly.
and
But-
you won't be seeing your pets no more.
Wait, what?
Let's end this before I get arrested.
Honestly, you're gonna get us locked up, and we're gonna mess up the podcast. Listen, everybody, thank you so much for all listening to today's episode of the Forgotten Podcast. This was episode 20. Once again, I want to let you all know 100,000% we are coming back strong. We've got a bunch of new episodes planned out. Be assured that next week on this exact day, on this exact time, whenever this episode is released, there will be a brand new episode coming out. I don't know if we should say what the episode is going to be or if we should just kind of acknowledge it. We can if we want, because we already know in advance. But I don't know if we really should.
I've never heard anyone sound so unsure.
Well, I don't know if we should acknowledge it.
Nah,
I
we
don't know
shouldn't, because then we should change it.
Oh, that's a great big brain. Big brain. Right. Okay. Next week we've got Planet Dragon Part 2 coming on. Be sure
With
to check it out.
Obama.
Oh, with Obama Barack. Keep saying. Be sure to check it out. It's gonna be
What is
amazing.
his
all right?
second name though? Comment down
I
below.
don't know, man. I've never really been able to work that out. I think it's Fidel. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, something like that.
Fidel.
But everybody, thanks so much for watching this episode of the Forgotten Podcast. If you guys did go to enjoy it, please be sure to drop a like in it, subscribe to the channel, and also check out our Catman shorts. Sorry, I said it again. My apologies.
Catman, stop.
Sorry, my apologies. You know what I'm saying? Check that as well. But be sure to go check out the Forgotten Podcast shorts. We'll have some of the best highlights from all the older episodes and the newer ones on there, so you guys can check them out for your enjoyment.
And
Plus,
quite
all the episodes will be on
frankly,
Spotify.
We will see you next year.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, we'll see you all
The
next
annual
year.
podcast.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I'm taking off my hat. Hell yeah, you know what I'm saying? All right, guys, thanks for watching. Peace.
Lol.
Just gonna keep that in. Lol.
Peace. Fucking what's that about?
Oh my, I end the broadcast there. God dang.
Cringe. You are cringe. Very
and
bad. Very